Hi, I'm Phyllis from southernfrugal.com. This morning we are going to have a smoothie, and we're going to have something a little bit different in it. Yesterday, y'all might have noticed I had the collards sitting over here behind me that I had bought. I bought them at Walmart. They're young collard greens, and they come from the next county over. And so I decided to use the stems. I know. I've used the big fat stem of broccoli before in smoothies, and that worked out great, so I figured the stems of the collards would work great too. Now, the collards I cooked yesterday for lunch, and they were absolutely delicious, because what happens is the greens, even kale, all of the different greens that are winter type greens, like mustard greens, kale, collards, turnip greens, all of it is much better after the first frost, because I think what happens is these greens kind of do their own antifreeze, so to speak, and it ends up making the greens much sweeter. So yesterday I would describe the collards we had at lunch as sweet and just slight nutty taste. They were absolutely delicious. So I took the big stems out, and so I used some of the leaves and the stems and ground it all up in the Vitamix and froze it. And let me show you what it looks like. Well, they're partially thawed out now, but can you all see that? See that bottom part that's the darker green, and the top part, that top part's going to be stem. So why would I eat the stem of collards, you ask yourself? Well, number one, I made myself some notes to try to encourage y'all to use those stems. Now, if you look back on my video when I was showing how to freeze collards, all of the stems went in the compost bin. I'm sorry to say, because if I had that to do over again, they would go ground up in the Vitamix and frozen. Yeah. So the collards and the stems are very rich in iron, calcium, copper, manganese, selenium, and zinc. And so when you're eating a collard green, you're almost like taking a multivitamin. That's about the way it works. Anyway, so another thing would be people that have thyroid dysfunction should not eat raw greens. And also people who are on Coumadin or warfarin, which is a blood thinner, should also not eat that many greens, is my understanding. But anyway, because greens contain a large amount of vitamin K, which is the vitamin that you need for your blood to clot. So think about it, those people who are taking blood thinners don't need to be eating a lot of greens. But anyway, if you don't fall within that group of people who have a thyroid problem or people who are on blood thinner, you can eat all the greens you want. And we do try to vary them. Now, I'll have to tell you that I am real partial to kale, and especially dinosaur kale, because it's so rich in vitamins and minerals. But anyway, this morning we're going to do, it's really 3/4 of these little cubes I'm using are the stems, and maybe a little fourth part of it down at the bottom would be some of the leaves, because I put some leaves in it too, but I put a lot of collard stems. So I wanted to talk to you about the measurement, because I had a subscriber wrote in and asked if I could start giving the exact amounts, and you know, I don't really know how to do that, because I use the cubes. But anyway, I'll try, okay? So, this morning I'm using a lot of orange, and I'm doing that because I know collards are, shall we say, really tasty, and I want to hide that taste in the smoothie. So this is a juice from 3 juice oranges that I just juiced a few minutes ago, and then I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes of frozen juice that I juiced earlier. Now all this is fresh orange juice. Let me talk to you about that a minute. I have found, I tried to use the juice you get at the grocery store, even the kind that's the supposedly fresh squeezed orange juice. It's still pasteurized though. And here's the thing, if you pasteurize it, it doesn't kill the taste of the greens as well as it does if you use fresh oranges. Plus the fresh oranges are just going to be healthier for you. So anyway, let's get back to this. Let me turn this down again. Alright, so I'm using pineapple this morning because pineapple will almost take over the whole taste of the smoothie. So I'm using 3 cubes of pineapple. Now this was fresh pineapple that I cut up and froze. I'm using the stem of the pineapple because that contains a lot of vitamins and minerals. Right down there below, hiding up in there, is almond butter. And I make my own almond butter and freeze it, and then when you add water to it, it becomes almond milk. Cream of wheat and oatmeal. I cook these two together, and I usually cook 10 cups at a time and then freeze it all. Now each little ice cube, this is a Rubbermaid ice tray, each one of these little cubes contains 2 tablespoons. So you could say 2, 4, 6. Then I've got 6 tablespoons of cream of wheat and oatmeal. Same with the dates. Now this is the last of my dates, so I'm going to have to order some more. I use the dates for sweetening, plus they're loaded with vitamins and minerals. So this is 2 cubes of dates, which would be 4 tablespoons. And I really kind of steam those dates, grind them up in the Vitamix, and then put them in the ice trays to freeze. And let's see, and this is sunflower seed pulp. And I get the sunflower seeds, they're raw sunflower seeds from nuts.com. I get a big 5-pound bag of them, and I don't cook them all at once, but I put them in boiling water for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then I use some of that water to put in the Vitamix, grind them up, put them in ice trays. Alright, so that's it for this bowl. This morning I'm going to also use some apples with the peeling on. And I'm going to use 2 bananas, and these are just the little small bananas. 2 small organic carrots, I'm going to cut those up. And then 1 big stalk of celery. And this was previously frozen. I just put it in the freezer just the way it comes from the store. Then I take it out, break it off, take it out, and then rinse it off real good and cut it up and put it in there. Now the celery, what that does, in my opinion, is it gives the smoothie a sort of a fresh taste, but it doesn't really, you can't really taste it at all in the smoothie. And this morning, this is probably a little over a cup of mixed berries. And this would be raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. And I'm using this again this morning because the raspberries have a very strong taste in a smoothie, and I'm trying to kill the taste of the collards, and I hope I succeed. And of course, for my husband, Mr. Bucky, I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, which is going to add protein to the smoothie. And then baby spinach, and this is organic baby spinach. I know some of it's from Mexico and some of it's from this country, but I got a great big thing of the spinach this week. So baby organic spinach. Alright, so we're ready to get started now. And by the way, on the apples, this is equivalent to about 1½ apples. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, let me fix it so you can, I don't know how to have it so you can see there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the orange juice, and this is the juice from 3 oranges, plus I'm using additional orange cubes that are in here. Alright, so I think I'm going to put in the apples because I want those peelings ground all up, and they are still just a little bit frozen. And then let's go ahead and cut up the bananas, and I'm really hoping to not need any extra water, although I might. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut these carrots up in little chunks. And I did peel them, even though they're organic. I pretty much always peel root vegetables, whether they're organic or not. Alright, so now we're going to cut up this celery. Yeah, we've got a lot of new subscribers, and I'm very happy about that. Now, for y'all new folks, I've got, I think today is going to be the 800th video I've posted in the last about 2 1/4 years. And of course there's a lot of cooking videos, a lot of cakes, pies, roast, all that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm squeezing the little bottom end out of this banana that I clipped off. Get everything out of there. Now I freeze my bananas whole in the peeling, and this is what they look like. Now this morning they've almost completely thawed out, and what I like about this, there's no oxidation whatsoever. Yeah, I think about half my freezer contains stuff for smoothies now, but that's the way it ought to be, because after all, I do consider this smoothie in the morning the most important meal we eat during the day. All right, I'm just sort of putting in the things that are a little harder to grind up, like the pineapple chunks, and so that's 3 pineapple chunks. Let's see, I did have 5 cubes of additional orange juice in there. This is the almond butter. In fact, you can see some little chunks of almonds still in there. And what that does is it turns into almond milk once you add water to it. All right, let's see. I think we need to go ahead and put the berries in now. Here they are. There are a lot of raspberries in there. They taste, well, they have a really strong taste. And so I'm hoping to hide the taste of the kale. So I've got my cream of wheat in there to give us some whole grain. Let's see if I can get the rest of this in there. And with the little cubes, the thing that falls out the fastest is the dates. And I think because they've got so much fiber in them. Alright, so we've got everything in. I'm going to see if I can do this morning without adding any water. I'm hoping to be able to do that. Now, if I have to add sugar, I'm not above adding sugar. Of course, you could use any kind of sweetener that you would want to use if you need it. Now, the dates sweeten up pretty well. Wait, I forgot the peanut butter. But if that's not sweet enough, then I'll go ahead and also add some extra sugar. You could add honey, agave, syrup, any kind of sweetener you want. That's about how much peanut butter I put in there. Now, any overage that I have, I'm going to freeze, and then we have, I just mix everything together that was an overage, and then we have that on the weekend, so we don't really waste anything. All right, here we go. Let y'all see what it looks like before I grind it up. Let's see, let's put you in closer. There. All right, I'm going to turn it on for just a minute and see if I'm going to need to add more water or more liquid. All right, here we go. Need to add maybe about a half a cup of water. We'll let that be it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grind this up and taste of it, and if I need a little sugar, I'll add that, and we'll be back. All right, I ended up running the Vitamix for a little over a minute, of course, because some of the stuff was still frozen, and I did end up putting in a good tablespoon of sugar this morning because it was not sweet enough. And I have tasted of it, and it tastes pretty good. But we've got a full, well, almost 64 ounces this morning. There's what it looks like. So the overage I'm going to freeze, of course, for the weekend. And I don't really keep, you know, the overage, I call it, more than just a few days, because the stuff was some of it was previously frozen. All right, I think we're going to have enough to fill up this ice tray this morning. Yeah, almost fills it up. So again, if you are looking for the measurements I use, I really use the cubes a lot, and each one of these little ice tray cubes is 2 tablespoons, so that ought to help. Okay, the other thing well, let me taste of it for you. Here we go. Yeah, I already know it's good. Okay, so I can taste the pineapple just a teeny bit, and I can taste the raspberries, and there really aren't that many raspberries in it. Can't taste the celery, you certainly can't taste the kale. Really, it's very, very good. Grinds up even, the Vitamix grinds up even the seeds from the raspberries. It does. There are no visible seeds at all. So, alright, so I will list the Vitamix down below, how you can get the free shipping. And I'm going to also list a video, and I think that I made, I think the title of it is Making Smoothie Cubes. I think that's the title. I'm going to just start always listing that down below in the description, and you're going to have to hit the little button thing that says Show More, and it'll be down below there. And maybe that will help some of y'all new guys. Yeah, and I'm so thrilled to have y'all aboard. And I sure hope you'll do the green smoothies. We have a juicer. We very seldom use that juicer because I want all the fiber and I want the whole business in my breakfast smoothie. So, but I can see that the juicer would work for losing weight and that kind of thing. And let me just mention this. I think, of course, we lost weight when we first started having the green smoothies. Now, before that, for really several years, I guess, we were having smoothies, but I never put anything green in it because at that point we were growing all kinds of greens in our garden. And I had somebody had made a video on putting kale in a smoothie, so I thought, oh, I'm going to do that. And I did, and we hated it. It was awful. And I was like, man, I don't know how these people do that. How can they drink this? It's just awful tasting. But here's the key. If you add the fresh squeezed orange juice, whatever green you're using, it's going to kill the taste. You will never know it's there. Now, you can see the green in it, but you will never be able to taste it because that citrus is going to kill the taste. And people have written in and said they used lemon and lime to do the same thing. But I just prefer to use the orange because it absolutely works. Yeah. So y'all saw that I put the cubes of collards in, including that had a lot of stems, and I would say 3/4 of those little cubes that you could see that lighter color at the top, that's all stem. And normally I would throw that in the compost bin. I would, but no more. I mean, on the kale, I've always used the stems too, but I never had on the collards, and this morning I did, and we'll be doing it that way from now on. All right, so we will see y'all next time.